if you've been keeping up with the news and if you've seen these layoffs at these huge companies, people already being replaced by robots, by automation, gigantic layoffs at Amazon, Walmart, and it's only gonna get worse. So when all this AI and robotic stuff kind of started coming out a few years ago, maybe like a decade ago, it kind of felt like, you would see it. It's not really that good. The quality's not that good. It felt like it was still very far away. Like we weren't going to be at this point this fast to where people are already being replaced by robots, by automation, by AI. And then over the past couple years, only like 2-3 years, and now it's really starting to happen. It's getting to that point where it's speeding up exponentially. Thousands and thousands of people are now starting to lose their jobs. Thousands of industries are at risk. And the crazy thing is that it's going to change humanity forever. I would like to argue that this is going to change history more than the Industrial Revolution. This is going to change humanity more than the internet, stuff like that, those two huge things. This is kind of the next saga that we're going in. And it's not going to be good for a lot of people. And here's why I'm going to tell you why. So, tons of people losing jobs. Even if your job is secure, if AI or robotics can't take your job, the competition of people that are going to try to do your job is going to increase. Your wage is going to go down. The value of a human life is going to go down. See, humans have value because we're useful, right? We provide labor. We provide, technical services. We can crunch numbers. We can do accounting. We can do all sorts of cool stuff, right? Human life has value, no matter what at the end of the day. But when these big companies, when these employers, when these conglomerates, governments, companies can replace human labor, which it's already going to happen and it's going to happen, and there's nothing you can stop it. There's no laws that they can do to stop it. Even if they pass a law, those laws are slowly going to get lobbied and eroded over time. Maybe it might not be an instantaneous thing, but it's little by little, everyone's going to start being replaced, right? And we see it in our everyday lives. First, it was the tech jobs, right? An AI software program can do the job of someone that's on a computer, right? A data scientist, right? AI can read data so much better than a data scientist, or it can do accounting for you, or it could do like these agents, right? These automated agents, customer service agents used to be a big thing, right? That was a whole career, right? Being in customer service. But now, when you go on a website, when you go to complain or you need a customer service agent, it's like you're always talking to an AI. Like people like that have easily been replaced quick. So all of the tech jobs, all the computer jobs, all these jobs that you can do from your computer, those are going to go first. All right. Then the blue collar jobs, right? There was this idea or belief that the blue collar jobs were going to be safe. Oh, AI can't weld, AI can't do this technical thing. Well, now you're starting to see retail, robotics starting to get into retail, taking over, and it's only going to get more exponentially better. There is going to be a robot that can weld. There is going to be a robot that can be a mechanic. There is going to be a robot that can do this crazy technical thing that nobody thinks that a robot can do it. It's already happening, guys, right? It might take 2 years, it might take a decade, but it's going to happen. So a lot of blue collar workers are going to lose their jobs, okay? So, like I said, even if your position is secure, there's going to be so many unemployed people out there. Like the value of human labor is going down, wages are going to go down, inflation is going up. What you're going to see happen is that a lot of humanity, I'm calling it right here, is going to be put into slavery. Okay? Maybe not like the slavery that you're thinking of, like from history, where like they put you in chains or something and they make you do a certain task. No, I mean like It's almost like wage slavery, right? It's like the wage slavery we have in the modern day, right? People barely getting by, people scraping by, people that are reliant on the government, people that are just getting a paycheck and they barely have enough money to survive, right? They can never get a savings. They can never go on vacations. They can never like do anything. They become peasants. You're going to see humanity go back into peasantry, okay? This is what's going to happen because there is going to be a lot of people losing their jobs and they're not going to have a way to make an income or live the dream, so to speak, or raise families. They're not going to have the means to do that. Low-skilled labor, low-skilled workers are going to go first. People that don't have skills. The people with the most basic jobs, they're going to be the ones that go first, okay? And then even the high-skilled jobs are going to go after that, right? And all these low-skilled people and all these blue-collar workers are going to be fighting to find a new niche in society. They're going to be fighting to get to that upper echelon in society, something that AI can't touch, something that robotics can't touch. So it's going to be super competitive, guys. Like, you know, even if you're safe, right, the humans are going to be coming for your position. They're going to want to take your spot. Okay, if you're in a good spot, there's going to be other people trying to get in that same spot that you're in, okay? And the consequences of this peasantry, and I say it's a peasantry, it's not going to be the robots or the AI themselves that are controlling everyone. It's going to be the humans, the upper class, the nobility, these people, the people that own these companies, the people, the politicians, whatever you want to call them, rich people, people that own these robots, the people that own these companies where everything is going to be automated. These people are going to be the nobles, right? They're going to be the slave drivers. They're going to be the ones with all the power in society because they're going to be safe. And they're going to use robots and AI to do the things that they need to do to stay at the top, right? And the thing, that's what it is. We live in a careful balance between us, right, the normal people, and the people in power, right? Because they need us. They need our labor. They need our expertise. They need people in the lower classes to do the tasks, right? So we have power in society. But when they can replace us, when they do replace us, we're not going to have no power. There isn't going to be any power, right? And that's why, like, all these ideas like UBI, the universal basic income, is actually a trap. UBI is just another tool to put you into this peasant class, to put you into this slavery class, okay? And I want to use an example like the food stamp situation. That whole government shutdown that just happened where there was a bunch of people freaking out over food stamps. If you're on universal basic income and there's a government shutdown, or they decide to restrict you, or they take away your UBI, or you break the rules, the universal basic income is going to be used as a leverage tool to keep people down, to keep people scrolling on their phones, to keep people inebriated, watching porn, you know, just doing like nonsense, brain rot activities. They want you to fall into that, and it's probably going to happen, and it's most likely going to happen, right? I really can't see anything like Pandora's box has already been opened. You know, the things that are happening now, they're already happening, right? When the Industrial Revolution started, the people that were taken off the farms and put into factories and stuff, yeah, there was resistance, but the Industrial Revolution still happened nevertheless, you know? Now, is this good for humanity? Who knows? I mean, this, technically speaking, robots replacing us, doing the hard tasks for us, technically speaking, on paper, it sounds great because, you know, it technically is making our lives easier, right? Obviously, humans, we don't want to be like working, we don't want to be breaking our backs, working dangerous jobs. But this is only good for the people that aren't reliant on these jobs, right? People work these jobs because they have to make a living. People work these jobs not because they want to, but because they have to, okay? So ultimately, this is going to benefit the people that don't do these jobs. The people that are already in power, the people that already hold the cards, right? The rich are just going to get richer, the poor are just going to get poorer, and the middle class is going to disappear. There's not going to be another middle class, okay? The middle class is already disappearing with the inflation and the wage stagnation and everything, and all the immigrants coming in. Like, it's becoming harder and harder to find a good job nowadays. People are leaving their jobs less because they're worried about, being homeless or not being able to find work, right? Think about like the self-driving cars, right? There's a good example, like the semi-trucks, right? A lot of these truckers are going to get replaced, right, by these self-driving trucks. They already have self-driving trucks in certain like facilities and stuff that are able to do the jobs of some of these truck drivers. Maybe not long distance, but within a plant or something. So the metahumans, I'm gonna call the nobles, the people at the top, the metahumans, and I'm gonna call the rest of society that's gonna become the peasants. These are gonna be the subhumans, okay? This is what's gonna happen long term. All right, so there's gonna be millions of deaths, possibly billions. A lot of people are gonna die. A lot of people might starve to death, right? If there is a collapse, if we are living on the UBI or whatever plan for society, if all that collapses and there's no way to make money and we've been cut out of the system, there is possibly going to be wars. There's going to be famine, right? Not because of a lack of food, but because people won't be able to buy the food or get access to the food, okay? So who's going to win this war, right? What's going to happen after that? Is this going to just be the story of humanity, right? Or are people just going to stay being peasants, and the people at the top are just going to stay at the top? So yeah, there's going to be two classes of humans, right? Yeah, the people at the top, the people at the bottom, just like always. And it's just going to be a massive divide. So what's my advice to you? My advice to you is to get on self-improvement, okay? Like all the videos I teach in this channel. Get on self-improvement. Start detaching yourself from degenerate activities. Start detaching yourself from doom scrolling, from porn, from the stuff that's holding you down, the stuff that's taking your energy, right? You need to be as in control of your mind as possible to weather the storm that's coming. You need to become wise. You need to become strong. You need to become resourceful. You need to get smart. You need to start researching things that you can do to keep your position good before shit hits the fan. Basically what I'm saying is that you need to get strong and smart, and you need to get yourself into a good spot before you get replaced, okay? Most of these people are going to get replaced, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it because they're not going to do anything to weather the storm. You still have time. You still have time to figure things out. I highly recommend to start researching jobs and industries, or start thinking of things that you can do to make money that cannot be replaced by a robot and that cannot be replaced by an AI. Something that people will pay for because you're a human. Something that only a human can do. I highly recommend you start looking at business ideas or things that you can do, or just even starting any business right now. Get the business experience. If you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, you're probably going to be in the best position to make this transition, okay? If you are a regular worker, if you work for a company, you are currently in a bad spot. I'm sorry to say it, but like I said, most of these jobs are not going to stick around for the next 20, 40 years. The time is ticking. The clock is ticking. Either you have to be one of the ones that uses the AI or the robots to your advantage, start a company and use these robots and use these AI and secure a good position in society, or you need to find a skill that cannot be replaced by this shit, okay? And to get there as fast as possible, you need to become disciplined. You need to fucking lock in, because your family is going to be counting on you. Your parents, your children is going to be counting on you. A lot of these people that become peasants, a lot of these people, they're not going to pass on their genes. A lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are going to get pushed out of the gene pool. All these men out here, like for example, all these men, out here that are going to be replaced, all the men that are like still not attractive, that are still overweight, that are still locked in on their, video games, on their phone, distracted, lost. Guys, it's going to be harder and harder for you to have kids and support them. It's going to be harder and harder for you to find a good woman, right? The men that adapt, the men that have businesses, the men that go to the gym, the men that are disciplined, they're going to pass on their genes. They're going to be able to have the resources and the status to find a good woman, to survive, to get to the next stage of humanity. Ultimately, your goal that I'm giving you right now is to start making your game plan and thinking long-term about where you're going to be in the next 10 to 20 years when this shit finally does cement itself. And don't say it's not happening, because it literally is. You go into McDonald's, they're already replacing cashiers and stuff with these little kiosks, right? Cashiers are already getting replaced. The blue collar retail workers are starting to get replaced. Logistics hubs, Amazon, look at it right now. You're going to be seeing more and more of this shit on the news. Tech jobs are getting replaced, guys. You either have to harness the power that's coming, this new bestowed power that we have. You either have to harness it or be in a position where you can't be replaced by it, okay? And do it now. Start now, because like I said, when this shit hits the fan, when these people start losing their jobs, millions, when I'm talking about millions of these people are losing their jobs and they have nowhere to go and they have nothing to do, they are going to be trying this shit. If you're smart, you will start now before everyone starts fucking panicking, okay? Start now before everyone starts panicking, okay? Because you don't want to be one of the ones that's caught up in the crowd. You don't want to be one of the millions or billions of people that gets replaced, that has no power, and you can't get educated, and you have no money, and you're just stuck in that position forever, okay? So leave a comment down below. This is just a warning that I'm giving to you guys. I don't know how many people are going to see it, but I feel like I received a message from God to tell you guys this. I was running and it just hit my mind, and it made the hair on my skin literally stand up. I felt this feeling something, the world is changing and something crazy is about to happen. Something crazy is literally about to happen. Something big is happening, and everyone's just still going about their day. Be one of the smart ones. Don't wait till the last second. Get started now.